Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Koehler, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-author, Andrew Collins. In absentia is our third co-author, Christopher Lynch. And we're talking to you here today about a new article published in Jasss, Methods that Support the Validation of Agent-Based Models, an Overview and Discussion. So, Andy, maybe you could say a few words as to why we wrote this paper and who the intended audience is.
Okay. So thank you, Matt. So we've had a lot of discussions over the years about validation of agent-based model simulation, and we know that it's a controversial subject. It's a subject that people tend to avoid discussing. It's definitely has some very strong opinions associated with it from those within the community. But the problem is by not discussing it, by avoiding it, that leaves a gap for novices. They have nowhere to turn to like have a starting point to think about how they might do the validation of their agent-based models. So we felt that this paper may be, a starting point. We're not claiming it's a standard. We're not claiming it's the be-all and end-all of validation of agent-based models, but we're claiming that maybe a starting point for people to at least help them on that journey, because we do feel that validation is an important part of the simulation development process. Now, in terms of who this is aimed for, obviously we mentioned novices, but we also see within the agent-based modeling simulation community, there are sort of like different stovepipes. There's the biologists, there's the ecologists, there's the engineers like ourselves, and there's also the social scientists, and there's a lot of others. I mean, pretty much every subject I've seen that uses agent-based model simulation. But because they're in the particular area, there's certain ways they're expected to do things. And what we're hoping this paper does is give an exposure to everybody about maybe different ways of thinking about validation, or different techniques that they may not have come across in the past.
That sounds compelling to me. I can't wait to read it. So in the last few seconds we have here, are there some highlights you'd like to let folks know about?
Yes. So, in the paper, what we tried to do was we wanted to give an exposure to techniques. There is, hundreds of validation techniques out there, but there's some that we felt that everybody should know, which is things like docking, empirical validation, sensitivity analysis. But there was also some new ones that we introduced as well, like the idea of using inverse generative social science as a validation technique. In the paper as well, at the end of it, there's a lot of discussion that we have about how we approach validation, or how we view some tips that may be useful for someone when they're coming up with their validation plan. The techniques that we do discuss, we discuss their strengths and weaknesses as well from our perspective. And again, take this with a pinch of salt. This is like our perspective. We are not claiming in any way this is some standard approach to doing validation. But what we want to do is just at least give people a starting point. That's the goal of this paper.
That sounds fantastic. Well, thank you.
Thank you.